You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Excited to have you with me here today for part one of our weekend Cabral House Calls. Hope to get through at least 5 to 10 of our community questions today and another 5 to 10 tomorrow. We're looking at questions coming in from the end of June right now, and we are right at the end of September. So we're maintaining our 12-week kind of delay, or 12 weeks in the queue for if you do write into the Ask Cabral show, part of the Cabral Concept, where again we answer our community's questions on everything from wellness to weight loss to anti-aging. If you're a health practitioner, how I might be able to help you in your practice or just in life, any book recommendations, any questions you have that I can answer, I'm happy to do so. Usually I'm able to offer some advice in some way, and if I ever don't know the answer, I will give you the direction at least of where to look. So excited as always to be able to look at all the questions that come in, because these are things that also then give me many topic ideas for what we can use Monday through Friday for the Cabral Concept shows, our Motivation and Mindset Monday, our Total Wellness Tuesday, our Wellness and Weight Loss Wednesday, our Training or Toxic Thursday, and then our Friday review, where basically anything goes. I review some of my favorite products from the week, some favorite books that I might be reading, anything that's going on, I like to bring you that Friday. So that's always an exciting show for me. Hope you've been tuning in. And again, thank you to everyone that has been reviewing the show on iTunes. I literally read every single review. Really excited when I see the new reviews come in, because I know that we're able to then raise awareness as much as we can about the topic of really blending not just functional medicine. A lot of people think that it's a functional medicine show, and it is. I'm practicing functional medicine, but it's not just that. It's integrated with Ayurvedic medicine, traditional naturopathy, with herbalism, with traditional Chinese medicine, with Eastern-based philosophy, with bioregulatory medicine. Homotoxicology is in there. Traditional naturopathy is the natural hygienist from before. And then, of course, what I consider naturopathic medicine is essentially the functional medicine of today, where we use advanced lab testing in the clinic. And basically now we do it for people worldwide, right at equilibriumnutrition.com. So these are all exciting things for me to be teaching. And I know now we're going to be teaching thousands of other practitioners around the world starting next week with the Integrative Health Practitioner Program. So check it out on Instagram, on email. I'll be announcing the debut next week. Couldn't be more excited. I will be very, very excited to launch, and then very, very excited to get some sleep after that. So thanks so much for your support around that. All right, let's get into today's show. And actually, just right before I do, because literally this is only going on until tomorrow, just want to let everybody know this is just a pop-up for our listeners only. Literally, it's for our listeners only. We are giving away free bottles of my favorite product, which is the Daily Nutritional Support. So our vanilla Daily Nutritional Support, absolutely free. You don't need to do anything. It's on all orders over $150 while supplies last. So you can literally just go to equilibriumnutrition.com. And if you listen to this before we've run out or before Sunday, which it is Sunday, September 30th, or it may end before while supplies last. So just something that I like to do for our listeners just for tuning in. So the more you tune in, obviously, the more fun things I can do, and I do appreciate that. Okay, the first question today is from Sasha. Sasha is writing in, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I absolutely love your podcast. I've learned so much. I have Candida, which I think may be causing some of my seborrheic dermatitis, which I'm struggling with to keep under control. I'm following the Candida diet with low carbohydrates, having trouble keeping sugars to a minimum. I am a type 1 diabetic, so I need sugar to recover from hypoglycaemia, even though I've lowered my insulin doses. My diabetes is managed, but because of the low-carb diet, my blood sugar is often around 4 to 5 millimoles, which I watch closely and need to eat glucose tablets, fruit juice, fruit, etc. throughout the day. I worry that I won't be able to get rid of Candida because I have to eat sugar to recover from low blood sugar, which will keep feeding the Candida. What can I do?" Sasha, great question. I have answered this before, so anytime I've answered a question, what I want to do is just kind of refer you back to those podcasts so that we can get as many questions as possible. So seborrheic dermatitis is almost always to do with the gut and especially Candida overgrowth. So I do agree. For seborrheic dermatitis, we use both a topical as well as internal based. I just want you to listen to a podcast called Why Candida Diets Don't Work. Okay, so check out that show. It will tell you exactly why Candida diets don't work and how you can actually eat carbohydrates while still getting rid of Candida. Okay, so we have something called the Candida and Bacterial Overgrowth Protocol. That isn't me just saying that it works exceptionally well. It's proven because we do before and after lab testing as well. Not everyone chooses to do after because all of their symptoms are gone. They feel great. They don't want to spend the money on the follow-up lab. I can appreciate that. I can understand that. And I don't want people to spend money when they don't need to on something. But we have many, many people retest and we see that it's all gone. So please listen to any of my Candida podcasts. So you can just go to stephencabral.com/podcasts and type in Candida. But you can just listen to a very special episode called Why Candida Diets Don't Work, and you'll understand how to better regulate that and what carbohydrates you can use in order to control your blood sugar that will not feed Candida. So great question. Happy to help there. Dawn is writing in next. I was wondering what your thoughts were on dental issues that my son recently went through. Every time we took him for his checkups, he had a cavity. All these cavities were very small and easy to fix, but when I did x-rays, he turned 5 years old. We discovered his molars were in terrible shape, and one tooth had exposed nerves. We were referred to a pediatric specialist that did an exam and laid out our treatment plan. He had 6 cavities, needed 4 crowns. They assured us it was not due to lack of brushing or poor diet, it was just our son. She recommended we brush his teeth for him, floss, and use fluoride rinse twice a day. While my son was going through all of this, I read the book Cure Tooth Decay. The author made a couple suggestions about using royal butter oil, fermented cod liver oil, green pastures, toothpaste. That was about a year ago. Recent checkups with no issues. I have no way of knowing which helped, but I do know he hasn't been sick nearly as much. Feel the butter and cod liver oil made a difference. I'm happy his teeth are better, but I'm also concerned what is going on internally, wondering what your thoughts are. Should we do additional testing? All right, really great, Dawn. Appreciate you writing in. These are great, great questions. Okay, I've done a bunch of shows on oral health, so I'd love you to go back and check that out on holistic dentistry, okay? Because I just basically went through what are all the top things you can do for brushing and flossing and what to use for toothpaste and what to use for rinses and oil pulling, and all those things are great. The fermented cod liver oil, or just cod liver oil, doesn't have to be fermented, is absolutely fantastic for overall immune system. So that is great. Why? It is because it has vitamin A and it has vitamin D, smaller amount of course, but it has your EPA and DHA. Okay, so that's fantastically well. We've seen that work throughout the ages, literally. Other things that are very important. A lot of times when children have all of these cavities, yet they're eating a good diet, they are brushing their teeth. Why do some kids get it? Why do some don't? It's actually the bacteria in the mouth. This is well studied now in all different types of medicine, not just naturopathic medicine or traditional naturopathy or any of those, but they have different types of bacteria growing in the mouth, whether it might be a streptococcus bacteria. Anyway, it's a bacteria that actually causes the mouth to be a little bit more acidic. So we always talk about acid and alkaline and all of that. Well, all we're talking about is what's going to maintain the proper pH of the mouth. We don't want the mouth too alkaline and we don't want it too acid. But if it's too acid, it actually can wear away at some of the enamel on the teeth, and which is almost like having acid reflux, but it's of the mouth because the pH is always a little bit lower. Remember, the saliva should be slightly alkaline. That's going to keep the enamel on the teeth from decaying. This is not my work. I certainly am not an expert holistic biological dentist. However, I've read dozens of books on holistic dentistry, and I read those starting with, obviously, back when I was studying naturopathy. However, having said all that, that can be corrected by looking at gut-based issues as well. So what I'd recommend, just for your son, is I would run what's called the organic acids test, and if possible, I would run the stool test. That will allow you to see if he has Candida overgrowth or some type of small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Those 2 labs are amazing. If you're able to do one more, it would be the hair tissue mineral analysis, just to look at heavy metals and electrolytes and other items like that, since he's done so much dental-based work. Those would be my recommendations. Dawn, I hope that helps. All right, up next is Anonymous. Hey, Stephen, I think I have what you would call a typical girl question. I'm an active 30-year-old girl who's very healthy. I eat non-processed foods, cold-pressed vegetable oil, or cold-pressed oils. I'm vegan. Try to sleep 7 to 8 hours. I'm thin, but not skinny. I take some supplements. I usually do a lot better. Oh, now it's better. Okay, I was taking glutamine, zinc, vitamin D, curcumin, B12, omega-3, and now I'm better. Okay, great. So she talks about playing sports, and now she talks about there's still a little bit of cellulite there. So the longer questions, I'm just going to ad-lib so that we get through the whole thing. I don't want to fall back into a bad diet. I'm frustrated. My period is quite irregular. What do you think these could be linked to? Please cheer me up. All right, and then she wrote, P.S. I have another problem. I can't run anymore nor do strength training because my knees are too sensitive. My whole body feels weak. It's so sad to see other girls at my age being free to do any sport that they like. And please advise any tests that you could send to France as well. International Cabral concept. All right, excellent. Thank you for writing in, and I'm happy to help with this. Yeah, so without a doubt, you'll want to run 2 labs specifically. The thyroid adrenal hormone lab, okay, because we want to look at estrogen dominance, which might be leading to your cellulite. And we would also like to run the organic acids test to see if there might be a toxicity issue, Candida issue, gut-based issue, leading to increased inflammation, which can also make your body look a little puffier, but not at the same time make it feel more run down, lead you to more of the joint-based issues. And we don't want to just keep using all the natural anti-inflammatories, which, although great, we want to find out what this underlying root cause is. So I'd love to run those, and I would love to run one more, which is the hair tissue mineral analysis. And I say that for this reason, is that very possible you have depleted levels of electrolytes as well, or at least of sodium potassium. And this can show an underlying cause of why you might be more fatigued, or why you run or you play sports and you get a little bit more run down. So these are all important things to look at. Thyroid adrenal hormone first. If you can run a second, it'd be the organic acids test. And number 3, if you're able to, it would be the hair tissue mineral analysis. Now remember, the Dr. Cabral Big 5 is always where I would love people to start, but I know that that's not always financially a possibility. However, if you're able to, then you also get the food sensitivity test, because you could be eating a food that's causing inflammation, that's then leading to cellulite, and then it's leading to fatigue and hormonal-based disruption. So I love that lab as well. And the omega-3 test, if you have low levels of omega-3, higher levels of omega-6, you're going to be more prone to producing more estrogen as well. So again, the Dr. Cabral Big 5, those are my go-to with everyone in my practice if they're able to financially afford those. I never force that on anyone. I never try to push that on anyone. But if they're able to, it's such a deep dive into your health that I would love people to run that. We hope to be shipping labs sometime in November to Europe. And Europe to us is Portugal, Spain. I'm going to try to go through the countries. France, Belgium, Germany, Italy, and we'll try to get some of the Scandinavian countries as well. Whatever our fulfillment company will allow is what we're going to do. That's it. And so we will literally be shipping worldwide. And right now we're in the UK, Canada, Australia, and the US, and then we'll open up Europe. And if we don't already ship to New Zealand, we'll be shipping to New Zealand as well. So we just want to master one thing. We're almost there. We're anywhere between 2 and 5 days in the US. We're going to get the US down to 2 to 3 days for shipping. And then Canada, I believe, in the UK are somewhere around 5 business days, 5 to 7. And then Australia right now is 8 business days to 10 business days is what we're told. So best we're able to do all of Australia, we actually get it there in about 4 to 5 days. But the problem is they hold it in customs for another 3 to 5 days, and that's out of our control. There's literally nothing we can do. They hold it there, and then they eventually release it. So that's an international-based thing that unfortunately has nothing to do with us. All right, up next is Brian. Brian with a Y. Hello, Brian writes, I'm interested in the program and would love to find out more about which tests I should take for my certain condition. The main issues I've had for a long time is brain fog, low energy, 31, 5'7", 152 pounds. Feel pretty healthy for the most part, or eat pretty healthy for the most part. I'd like to find out why I'm feeling this way and hopefully turn around. Thank you. Look forward to hearing back. All right, so the main issues are brain fog and energy. All right, well, then this is a pretty straightforward one. So, of course, again, the Dr. Cabral Big 5, it will tell you from many different areas that it could be higher levels of omega-6. That's leading to inflammation. That's leading to low energy and brain fog. You're eating foods such as maybe eggs that we consider sometimes very healthy, but they could be leading to inflammation, again, and fatigue and brain fog. It could be gut-based issues. So there's some gut permeability that's then leading to immune-based attacks on those proteins coming out, and that's leading to fatigue. It could be electrolyte imbalance. It could be higher levels of copper. It could be low levels of selenium for the thyroid. So that's a hair tissue mineral analysis. And then the last one, of course, is kind of like the go-to, right? The thyroid adrenal hormone. And that's because if your adrenals, your cortisol output is low, and your testosterone is low, and your DHEA is low, you're going to feel low. So if you can't do the big five, then I'm going to give them to you in the specific order, Brian, that would work for you. So thyroid adrenal hormone. Okay. Up next is the hair tissue mineral analysis, because both of those are going to be directly related to energy, right? And then after that, the organic acids test. And then the next one would be the food sensitivity test. And the third one would be the omega-3 test. The reason those two ones at the end are last is because if we need to, well, we could just supplement with omega-3. And then if we need to, we'll put you on an elimination diet, which will eliminate the foods that you may be most sensitive to, or most people are in the first place. So you could even go with the first three, and we'll help you out with the last two if that works better for you. All right, thanks for writing in, Brian. And of course, all these questions can be answered on almost the same day basis at CabralSupportGroup.com. My team is in there every day. Literally, I have 4 amazing team members in there answering questions on a daily basis. All right, Emily is up next. I was diagnosed with narcolepsy 4 to 5 years ago, a struggle with excessive daytime sleepiness since I was in middle school, but I was not diagnosed with narcolepsy until 25. I've tried various types of medication. Unfortunately, none of them have been positive towards sleep. If you can recommend a specific diet or natural supplements to help with the excessive sleepiness, and finally, what test kit you recommend to see if there are additional underlying root causes. My goal is to be completely off medication, but with this neurological challenge, it's hard to keep a job without the support. I eat a healthy diet and exercise 3 to 4 days a week. Any suggestions appreciated? Emily, happy to help with this. Thank you for writing in. This is a great question. So hands down, we want 2 main tests: thyroid adrenal hormone and the hair tissue mineral analysis. Let me look at your electrolytes. Let me look at your calcium to magnesium levels. It could actually be, this is rare, but it does happen. There can actually be an inverse ratio of both calcium to magnesium and sodium to potassium. Both of those will lead to excessive daytime sleepiness. Most of the time, 9 out of 10 people are deficient in magnesium. Sometimes people are actually deficient in the ability to utilize calcium to wake the body up and get into fight or flight. Also, some people are not producing enough cortisol or testosterone, and even as a female. And so what we want to do is just make sure those levels are adequate as well. So I could give you the supplements to take. However, I would love to know what the underlying root causes are. Now, if you say, okay, I just want to do the supplements. All right, well, I don't love doing that, but I would do the Dr. Cabral daily protocol in the morning to start. And I would also do 2 caps of the adrenal energy support with breakfast, 2 caps of adrenal energy support with lunch. I would also do an activated B vitamin at lunch. And then I would do 2 Cal Mag Complete with dinner. Again, this is health education. I'm never providing a treatment, a cure for any disease, and I'm not diagnosing disease. I don't have the legal authority to do that. It's not within the scope of practice of what I do. I'm providing health education. I'm not working with you directly in my practice. And even if I was, we provide what's called health education. That's the only people that can give you medical advice are MDs, licensed medical doctors. Okay, so I never want to confuse that. I'm showing you exactly what I would do for myself, someone in my practice, with my own family. That's the exact advice I'm giving you. And I do have, though, 250,000 client appointments in our archives to draw from. So there's quite a bit of experience, but at the same time, it's not medical advice. So Emily, that's exactly what I do. I would test first, and if not, those are the nutritional supplements that I would recommend. And you can go back and, of course, just rewind and listen to those again if you'd like. All right, Eva is up next. Eva's asking, hello, Dr. Cabral. My name is Eva, and I'm a professional fin swimmer of Austria in Vienna. I'm vegan, listening to your podcast since a week now. I already bought your book and love the content so much. To my question, I normally have practice twice a day, and sadly, the evening is mostly 6 till 9 p.m. 1 hour weightlifting and 2 hours of swimming. Since I want to try the Ayurvedic routine, I'm curious how I manage to eat and go to bed with an empty stomach before 10 p.m. And afterwards just came home and go straight to bed. I worked for practice. Do you have any suggestions? How would you manage it since a good night rest from 10 till 5:30 and adequate nutrition? I'm excited about your advice. Okay, actually, this is not ideal. There's no doubt about that. And I work with people in your position all the time because I work with elite athletes, and you're obviously an elite athlete. So I work with Olympians. I work with world champions. I've worked with teenagers that are trying to get into the Olympic trials. I've worked with CrossFit athletes. I've worked with professional MMA fighters. I've worked with professional golfers, professional NFL. And I understand I've worked with actors and actresses that are doing shoots until late at night. Here's what we do. So we're typically doing 4 meals per day because you're active. So we're doing breakfast about an hour after waking. You can listen to my morning routine, but essentially we're doing the daily fruit and vegetable blend when you wake up, squeeze of lemon or lime, a little pinch of sea salt. That's a nice electrolyte drink. About an hour later, you're doing the smoothie that I recommend and oftentimes a little oatmeal. So you're doing then lunch about 3.5 to 4 hours later. 3.5 to 4 hours later, you're doing some type of green juice or another smoothie, typically another smoothie with a daily nutritional support powder because you're so active. And then oftentimes we'll flip-flop that. So those people, when their practices are late twice a week, will do dinner around 4 o'clock or so, 4:30, and then they'll practice from 6 to 9, and then we'll do a shake before bed. Okay, so the shake before bed will then be digested essentially within an hour to an hour and a half, whereas a meal might be 3 hours to 4 hours. That's how we do it so that you can still get a good, restful night's sleep and not have all that food in your stomach weighing you down, not allowing you to rejuvenate and repair before bed. So that's what we do. Again, it's not a perfect lifestyle, but you've chosen to be a professional fin swimmer, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. You have to understand, like, this is a phase of your life. You're not going to be doing this when you're 50 years old, most likely. Although I do work actually with a lot of people, especially men, and they're in a men's hockey league or they're in something where they're doing it a little bit later at night. So just keep in mind, it's never going to fit the Ayurvedic routine of having downtime between 6 o'clock at night and 10 o'clock at night and stopping eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. However, you're doing the best that you can. Remember, we all have to make the best relative choice in life, and that is probably the best choice for you, and I've seen it work really, really well in my practice. All right, Julia's up next. Hi, Stephen. First of all, thank you for putting out all this incredible content. My question today is about everyone's favorite daytime drug, coffee. Every time I drink, my sweat, especially under the armpits, smells really funky and totally unpleasant. Could this have something to do with my liver being overburdened, or is there another explanation? What would be your advice or actions on taking in order to smell good again? Thanks for everything. I don't know if I'm misreading this. It says, my question today is about everyone's favorite daytime drug, coffee. Every time I drink, my sweat, especially under the armpits, smells really funky and totally unpleasant. Are you drinking the sweat from under your armpits? I mean, I'm just having a little fun right now. I don't know, but let's just say that you're smelling a lot of odor. Okay, I've actually gone over this before, and what that typically means is there is overburden of toxicity in the body, that your body actually is creating too much AMA. So I absolutely do recommend a 21-day Dr. Cabral detox, for sure. And then about coffee, check out my podcast on coffee and cortisol. All you have to do is go to stephencabral.com/podcasts. In the search bar, in quotation marks, type in coffee. All right, that's your search word. And you'll find how it affects some people greater than others based on genetic predisposition, but also based on if they have anxiety, also based on if they're more of the ectomorphic body type rather than the endomorphic body type. Endomorphs do a little bit better with coffee as long as their stress isn't too high. You know, to be honest, the easiest way to figure this out for sure is to drink coffee, do your normal routine, and then take what's called the adrenal hormone test. Or if you want to upgrade, go to the thyroid adrenal hormone test. It will show you what that coffee is actually doing your cortisol levels. I do this all the time for people. I say, you know what? It might be affecting you. It might not. If you have anxiety, for sure, you don't want to be drinking caffeine. But if you don't and you just want to see how it's affecting you, you can simply go through your normal day and take the thyroid adrenal hormone test. Or if you want to save the $100 and not do the thyroid, vitamin D, hemoglobin A1C, and insulin, then you would run the adrenal hormone. I just think that getting all those extra tests is so amazing. So that is that. All right, we're going to keep it at that for today. I'm going to be back with another 5 to 10 questions tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the questions. I also appreciate all the kind words during the questions. It's literally fuel for me. It's energy for me. It seems like, you know, when I read those questions that some people are getting some benefit. So that's the best that I can ever hope to do. I really do appreciate it. Thanks so much. I'll be back tomorrow. Stay tuned for those shows. And as always, if this show is helpful, feel free to pass it along to anyone else it may serve. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.